Hello and welcome to the Beckoning Bookshelf. I'm your host, Jeffrey Ashcraft. Today is another rather experimental episode in which I'm going to talk a bit more about storytelling in general. Specifically, one storytelling concept that I really enjoy. Mysteries are one of the ways that stories keep us engaged. They incite our curiosity, they stoke our imaginations, they beckon us to become fellow travelers on the adventure, to read the next chapter, to watch the next episode in pursuit of answers, to explore the vast world in front of us. Well, I suppose being presented to us. But not every mystery needs to be solved in a story. And in fact, by leaving some mysteries unresolved, the story can be enhanced. It can become all that much better, all that much more magical. And that's the concept that I call the lure of the unknown. So to better encapsulate this, I'm going to use an example. That is from one of the greatest fantasy stories ever told, The Lord of the Rings. This book is rife with unresolved mysteries. One of which is Tom Bombadil, a rather enigmatic character that we encounter early on in the story. He's some seemingly random guy who lives in the forest, has a very strange wardrobe, is very cheerful, breaking out into song very often, and saves the hobbits on a couple of occasions. He is also seemingly very ancient and powerful, with the One Ring having absolutely no sway over him at all. I mean, the Ring of Power is powerless in the hands of Tom Bombadil. But we don't get much more information on this character than that. He is an enigma. And this was done intentionally by Tolkien. In a letter he wrote to a Naomi Mitchison, who was a Scottish novelist, I believe, he stated the following about Tom. As a story, I think it is good that there should be a lot of things unexplained, especially if an explanation actually exists. And even in a mythical age, there must be some enigmas, as there always are. Tom Bombadil is one intentionally. So Tolkien intentionally left Tom Bombadil as a mystery. But why? Why would he do something like that? Well, in another letter that Tolkien wrote to a Peter Hastings, who was the manager of a Catholic bookstore in Oxford, I believe, he stated that when it comes to reading a story, we're typically viewing the world from a singular point of view, or multiple singular points of view if there's various characters that we follow. Still, regardless, we're only getting a small bit of the world. We're only experiencing a very small bit of the vast world that the story takes place in. And Tolkien liked the idea to tell the reader that there's a lot more out there that we are not experiencing. Here's another example. Once again from The Lord of the Rings. This one takes place a lot later in the story, in which Gandalf is retelling, well, I suppose telling, his adventure, well, his battle with the Balrog. To which he says, "Far, far below the deepest delvings of the dwarves, the world is gnawed by nameless things. Even Sauron knows them not. They are older than he. Now I have walked there, but I will bring no report to darken the light of day." Wow, that sounds ominous. These nameless things? These nameless things, which the name is actually rather accurate, are never really named. That's pretty much the only line we get in the Lord of the Rings itself in the main story, that these nameless things even exist. And think of all the crazy things we encounter in Lord of the Rings. The Balrog, Shelob, the Ringwraiths. What are these nameless things that are gnawing at the depths of Middle-earth? Don't know. Such an exciting idea that this world is so much more vast than we are seeing as readers. And there's so much potential there. So these unresolved mysteries, this lure of the unknown, makes the world bigger. It makes us realize that there's so much out there to explore that we have not yet seen or explored. And Lord of the Rings is not the only book that does this. I have a couple other books here, like Coraline, for example. Who exactly is the Beldam? Where exactly did she come from? How does her world exist? And what, if anything, dwells in the bridge between the two worlds? If you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. The Last Unicorn is another one, rife with untold story, unresolved mysteries. Ugh, tongue twister, so many words. One example is when Schmemdrick is trying to free the unicorn from Mommy Fortuna's cage, in which he summons this gray, grinning creature from the darkness that chuckles muddily and is ready to devour the unicorn. What is this thing? We don't know. It's a mystery left for us to be curious about, to guess at. And books aren't the only stories that actually use this technique. There's video games, TV shows, and movies. You know, like, for example, Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, Gravity Falls, Over the Garden Wall, all the Soulsborne games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I've played those. There's a lot of mysteries in those. And one of my favorite movies of all time, well, let's be honest, my favorite movie of all time, Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away. I love this movie, and it's probably because of all the unknowns in the story. And yes, I know that there's some cultural, some confusion and things lost culturally due to cultural differences. Yeah, I understand that. I'm talking about the parts of the story that are actually meant to be unknown. Like the train. Kamaji says that the train used to go both ways, but now it's just a one-way ride. Where's it going? And who is this girl just standing on the platform watching the train go away? The movie focuses on her, so we're meant to see her. We're meant to focus on her as well. Who is she? What's her story? We don't know. This is such a fun concept because for some reason the unknown is just very fascinating to most people. We like to discover things. We like to explore the unknown. I mean, you have the various explorers from, in the past who just decided to go out and explore the unknown lands to see what adventures lie ahead. They are just the spirit of adventure. It's exploring the unknown. You see a treasure chest, you want to see what's inside. I don't know if you guys have the same experience that I do, but when I'm traveling somewhere, like on the road, and we're passing some city, some town, I'll just look out at the town and just wonder of all the stories that are happening there that I know nothing about. There's just this magic to the unknown. And one of my favorite parts about it, when it comes to an actual story, when you use these unresolved mysteries in a story when they're included, I like how it indicates that the story's not over. The story hasn't ended. The adventures aren't done. There's more out there to explore. Have you ever wanted, you watched a TV show or read a book or played a video game and you just wanted more? You loved it that much, and you don't want it to actually be over? Well, these unresolved mysteries help allow that to happen because there's just more to discover. There's more out there. And I just love exploring the unknown. Again, it's one of the reasons why I like books so much is there's so much to explore in the books. When I get a new book, it's wholly unknown to me. I don't know what adventures are going to lay ahead. And so it's always fun. Well, I should say, it's fun most of the time to explore the unknown. Sometimes it's not a fun time. And I should actually add a little caveat here. In some of these cases, these mysteries are actually resolved, but they're resolved outside of the main stories. For example, some of the unresolved mysteries in Lord of the Rings can be solved, or the answers are in the appendices, or in interviews and letters that Tolkien wrote, or did, I suppose, if I'm talking about interviews. Or there can be other media eventually released, like the little Legend of Zelda manga that actually explains the origins of Majora. But in the stories themselves, these mysteries remain unresolved, and it is one of the most magical storytelling techniques that exists. And it's so much fun when it's done right. What are one of your, well, let me speak proper English here. What are your favorite instances of an unresolved mystery in one of your favorite stories? And do you have theories as to what the answers actually are? I love exploring what the possibilities may be. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this experimental episode. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how many of these storytelling episodes I'll do, because I am not a writer. I just read books and enjoy exploring stories. That's about it. But thank you for being here. Thank you always for being here. You are amazing. Now go find yourself a good book.